I will be starting assembly on Futura Designs Futura LS workstation with tilt on one side. It's model number 50308. The assembly of the desk comes in this large of a box. And here are all of the pieces. The glass is still in the package. The package comes with 4 different compartments, and this is one of them. I like cutting the package along the line, along the edge of the compartments, and then separating out each package on its own. So it's easier to differentiate between what bolts you need and which ones you don't need. Typically when you're doing assembly, they put all of the bolts that you need in one compartment, and it streamlines your assembly process. So in this package, it's 19, 21, 24, 27, and 28. So I always match these numbers in the order of the parts inside of the package, inside of the compartment. This is 19, 21, 24, 27, and 28. This also comes with a multi-page manual that tells you step by step what you need to do, including a parts list. Here are the first few pieces to the first table: a number 1 leg, a number 2 leg, and then 6, 7, and 8. These parts are not numbered, but it's just a simple square tube with a couple of L's, and then an I tube. When assembling, I use this simple Ryobi tool. I use a DeWalt extension, so it gets me in those really tight spots. And I use this instead of the Allen wrench that they send. The Allen wrench, I just match up a small tool with it, and then I take the bit and I put it in my drill. And it makes for installation and assembly much quicker. Take the number 1 leg, flat side facing in, simple L bracket on each end. This bolts towards the outside. So now we'll invert this and do the soft assembly for this on this end. So this is a soft assemble. I take the eye brace and put it in the middle, and then the tube go on here. Now the good thing about the drill, it's easily assembled. Do not hold your drill too tight. You do not want to strip out your bolts. These are the cross braces that go in the back. It's basically just an X pattern. It bolts in the middle, 1 at each corner on the back of your first set of legs. So here is the X brace that's in place for the legs. It's a little bit wobbly because I haven't tightened any of the bolts. Last thing we have to place are the adjustable legs, one for each leg. It's best to tighten them all the way down until you get the table in place and then loosen them up as you need to level the table. So I have inverted the table, flipped it over, and this is the top. I want these tabs, there's one on each end, to line up with this piece. It also has two tabs, one on each end. It's just a basic square, but there's one tab on each end. And the bolts go through this and thread into the table itself. So here's the square. This sits on top of the table, like such. And the tabs are back here. This is where you bolt in, right here. Here are all of the parts for the next table. It's simply two legs, two braces, and two cross braces for the back. So here are the two legs with the back brace installed. Just have to install this brace up here, and then the cross section back here. Okay, so we have the setup of the two desks. The second one is assembled. So we're going to set ours up in a point facing into the room. Up next, the bent corner, and the three brackets for the inside corner. And putting in the curved corner, make sure your holes are facing up, not down. Okay, so the bracket is installed. All the bolts are tight, except for this bracket here and the other bracket. Once you put on the glass, you slide this up against the glass and then you tighten it down. So after I put the glass top on, I'll slide this up and tighten it down. This corner bracket, make sure that you put the hole to the center bracket facing up. These are the next pieces that are being installed. They're little plugs that go into the holes. And that is what the glass sits on. Now the glass will be unpackaged and placed on the table. Okay, I have the glass installed, and now I am installing this bracket. This bracket is simply held on by two bolts right here and two bolts down here. The two bolts are the Phillips screwdriver heads, not the Allen wrench. Okay, here is the finished product. These are the tools that I needed. It's a simple Ryobi small handheld screwdriver, a DeWalt extension, any extension, I just use DeWalt, and then a regular Phillips head with a 5/32 Allen wrench head tip. It all connects to each other, nice and stable. The glass holds very well. And this section here lifts up. As you lift it, it locks. So the height is adjustable. When you want to release it, you lift it all the way up and it slides down. Very nice. Okay, there were 3 issues with assembling this V-shaped desk. The first issue is this eye support right here. It bolts right here, runs across to this side. On one side it bolts and the other side it does not. In the directions it did not tell me which side needed to which direction. You want the side that bolts to face the bracket that you're going to install, so your table lifts in the direction that you want it to lift, like this. So my bracket had to be on this side with the bolt holes there. It's easily fixable by removing these two bolts right here and the two bolts on the other end, simply flipping the beam over and then rebolting it. So that's a pretty easy fix, but they did not include that in the directions. The second issue that I ran across is these brackets were supposed to go right here to help support the glass. There's a bolt here, but not there. So I couldn't bolt this on this side like the directions are telling me to. So then the bolt that is supposed to hold this in, they told me to use a bolt number that I've already used all of them. So I can't attach this bracket unless I find a bolt for my bolt storage. The third issue that I ran into were the legs. They sent 3 legs of one side and 1 leg of the other that matched the angle that this is supposed to go. This is supposed to be the right leg. This down here is supposed to be the left leg. The problem with that is I had to drill 2 holes into the leg so I could mount my crossbeam. The 2 holes did not exist. That is the only issue, the only 3 issues that I ran into with assembling this desk. The directions were not very clear, so hopefully this video helps someone out. So hopefully this video helps you with the installation.